Hello and welcome to another edition of the First Rate Legacy podcast. It's always a pleasure to be here and have you join us to find out more about the 4 core values here at First Rate of love, give, serve, and enjoy, and the legacy that First Rate has with those values. And today I have a very special guest, Mr. Esquire Logan Taylor.
Hello.
Thank you, Logan, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's
an honor.
Oh, well, of course. Logan and I, we're kind of in a very similar boat right now as expecting fathers to be for the first time. And
it's scary, exciting, all in one, right?
I'm only at the scary part right now.
You're at the earlier stage, right.
Yeah, I'm not even though I've got quite a few years on you. I won't say how many, but you're ahead of me on the due date.
The due dates,
so
right.
You're obviously that much wiser and learned when it comes to these things.
I don't know about that, but yeah, hopefully eventually.
But yeah, it's exciting things, and it seems like there is a bit of a baby boom going on at First.
It's pretty incredible. Yeah, everyone's just flocking.
It's what happens when people get locked in corridors for a while during a pandemic.
Yep.
Somehow babies happen.
The baby boom kind of delayed into First Rate, and now it's hidden. So that's good.
Boomers used to be because of wars. Now the next generation of boomers because of pandemics. But anyways, to get back on topic, I just, always happy to have you here. But first,
definitely
share with our audience kind of how you got connected with First Rate and became a part of the First Rate family.
Yeah. So I'm from Arlington, Texas, where First Rate's headquarters are, and so I grew up in Arlington. I went to church down the road at a church called Fielder, and so that is where I had a leader named Rob Bethman. So Rob works at First Rate, has worked at First Rate for a long time, over 20 years, and so Rob was my senior year Bible study leader, and so from that we had a great relationship, friendship, mentorship role that he had over me. And so as I went to college, I was at UTA, again down the road, Arlington, born and bred, and so in college I was looking for kind of just a part-time job. I was a finance major, so I was kind of wanting to get my feet wet and somewhere in that space, and I had another mentor that had kind of reached out to some of his friends at Fielder, shared my resume, and that's when Rob was like, hey, why don't you just come talk to me? I didn't know you were looking for a job. I'm pretty sure there's an opening in my department on the BPO team, and why don't you just come in and have lunch with one of the employees, Rachel Guy, who works here as well, and ultimately ended up being my boss. And so we had lunch, and things worked out well, and that's where I kind of got started at First Rate.
Nice. And so was any of your family in finance?
My dad, he's a CPA, and so more on the accounting side.
Gotcha.
But he's kind of who helped me and led me to go to finance.
But then Rob kind of helped steer you directly.
To First Rate.
Yeah, the family angle and the mentor angle to kind of get you to discover your vocation.
That's right. Exactly.
Which is always nice. It does take a village to understand our vocation.
Yes. Yeah, it does.
But yeah, and so it's and you started back. I mean, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. But
a blink of eye, it's been about 4 years ago.
4 years?
Yeah. So late 2017, early 2018.
And it's funny because your role in BPO, the primary role of that department is service for the client,
right.
And that's it's once again those values we have are even ingrained not just into the community we have, but the jobs themselves.
Ultimately, yeah, exactly.
And you've definitely had quite a long experience getting to serve clients, and I know you have plenty of stories.
All wonderful stories.
Of course, all
That's
wonderful.
Right.
All wonderful and funny sometimes.
Funny, wonderful, yes, all the same.
Never bad.
Never bad.
Good.
No. We love servicing our clients here at First Rate.
Exactly, we do. And that's the fun thing is that we enjoy serving our clients, and our clients enjoy our service.
No, through that service as well, I would say on the BPO team, I was definitely really able to see the core values at work and what service can then lead to on the loving and the giving and the enjoying part of that from the service side as well.
And I think one of the things that kind of drew you to first rate without you realizing and has carried on is that level of service, is that it goes beyond just what you do here in the office, but goes into your life outside.
Definitely.
Because we know that you have much more of a life outside of first rate than in first rate. Surprising.
Yes.
And we like to see how what you bring to first rate sets the example outside of it. And that level of service, I know for you, definitely is highlighted in the fact that you're the young whippersnapper you are, and yet you're already on the YMCA board here in Arlington.
Yes. Yeah, that's been a huge blessing that I've kind of been able to be blessed in stepping into for that role this past year. I was able to take over from a good friend and colleague recently for Terry Gaines, who worked here for many years and many years. The famous Terry Gaines. He is also known as Mr. Arlington, and he was a great introduction into the board seat of the YMCA of Arlington Mansfield area, and really just wanting to learn more about what that service line looks like for the YMCA and all it does.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and once again, it's kind of going back to that mentoring aspect of somebody kind of showing you the ropes and getting you the connections you need to kind of build your own little legacy, if
Definitely.
you will. And it's pretty neat. And I know, First Rate has partnered with the Y for so long. Even beyond Terry and now you, it's still just a partnership that looks for serving Arlington,
totally,
and its underserved communities in so many unique ways for better health and mind, body, and spirit. And so, it's neat. And why the Y though? Why was it that it wasn't just because Terry, right?
Right. No, not at all.
What was it about the Y that you said this is the kind of board seat I want? Yeah.
So growing up, my first inclination of the YMCA was sports and fitness, which I think that's still the inclination of a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Is when you hear of the Y, you think of the youth sports that you have growing up, and that was my experience with the Y all the way into high school, which usually is not the case, but me and my buddies loved playing up until our senior year of high school basketball for the YMCA as well.
Nice.
So, not that recently, long ago I was there. But so growing up and seeing it just as this sports and fitness and saying the famous YMCA pledge that you kind of just quoted a minute ago. And that was it. And so when I got to hear about Terry and his involvement with the YMCA and First Rate's involvement with the YMCA, it kind of got me just interested in learning more about, so for a sports and fitness, company, what does that really entail? And really it was then opening my eyes to, wow, like the YMCA is so crucial for the entire community. And really the sports fitness aspect is just a small part of really what the YMCA is able to do in its entirety for the community, whether that's the youth development, right, as well. So you have the sports programs, but you also have the after school programs, things like that, and then social responsibilities, and then just other healthy living lifestyle aspects and all other aspects that the YMCA just tries to meet the needs of the community.
Yeah. Meet the needs of the community by being a very unique community.
Yes, definitely.
Now it's fun to hear that you were in the Y all the way through high school. I was too, except in a different way, because I refereed soccer for all through high school.
And it's a great job.
Yes and no.
It's a way to spend your Saturdays.
Parents can be the worst sometimes. And so I say this as you're about to be a parent, and I as well. I pledge never to be like the parents.
Don't haggle the ref.
Never haggled the ref.
Okay.
It's just
it's
a poor high schooler.
Right.
What adult yells as a poor high schooler refereeing a kindergarten soccer game? Yet you would be surprised
how many
do.
That's funny.
Because apparently it's just as important as the World Cup.
It is. from a very early age. You got to instill it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
But no, it's funny that even for people working at the Y can do it at such a young age and be involved in it all the way through high school and beyond.
Totally.
It's really neat. And it's amazing how much it does. And so being able to now be on the board, what are some of the ways you've been able to, what are some of the new lights you've seen of, you just talked about how the Y did more than you ever realized when you were part of it.
Right.
Now you started to know more, and that's how you wanted to be on the board, to be a part of that community building and addressing the needs of the community.
Yep.
Now that you're on the board, what are some of those unique things that even before you were on the board, you didn't know about that they're doing in Arlington and all Y's beyond?
Yeah, so I think first off, being a board member now kind of has a more effect, financially as well, of me wanting to really be on the forefront of donating my time and resources, and ultimately money to all that they're doing. And so really being able to see from those donations and the annual, annual campaign that they try to raise for, and where that kind of goes. And so seeing that, from the board, a board member seat, and how the opportunities we can provide on these task force for annual event planning, annual support campaign, like I just mentioned. We have donor relations, and then being able to help with facility expansions and capital campaigns, strategic planning, helping with diversity, inclusion, and global engagement that the Y has just been so good with over the years, and it's ever evolving, right? In this space and time. Doing secret shopping for families, especially, we just wrapped up the Christmas season, so being able to see what those secret shoppers do and how we're able to serve, whether it's the Thanksgiving, Christmas meals, and being able to connect with other organizations, like we have Mission Arlington in the area for those meals. Mm-hmm. And then just be able to help, again, like I mentioned, in the youth development, healthy living, and again, social engagement, that the Y just wants to not just be this cloud of help over the community, but also being able to be intertwined with the community. Yeah. And ultimately, it's a lot of feedback from the community of, hey, where is that need? What are we hearing from the community, and then how can we go out and serve that specific need, especially when it aligns to the values of the YMCA for that reason.
Yeah. And that is a ton of stuff, and it takes, like you said, a lot of time and a lot of resources to get all that done, and that's a big part of what being a board member is. I remember kind of being in shell shock when I got asked to be a board member for my divinity school at Wake Forest, and I had to decline because, for a lot of positions on boards, the expectation of funds that you can provide is pretty substantial, and it was very shocking to me that's what, especially for div school, us in the clergy, we're not known for rolling in the dough,
the deep pockets,
unless of course we're the righteous gemstones.
Exactly.
But it's a very real fact that you have to do, and I know, especially in your case, First Rate is able to help because the Y is local. You've been able to use First Rate and the First Rate community to help with that resource building.
Yes.
To serve your role at on the board. So kind of give us a little insight into how First Rate helps facilitate that role and obligation.
Definitely. Yeah, there's a few aspects there. So First Rate, right, as the company, really is able to partner alongside this core value of service with the YMCA through their donations. And so the YMCA, or the First Rate, is definitely by far and away one of the biggest donors for the Arlington-Mansfield area YMCA, which is huge for our annual campaign. But they also are able to then speak into and help in the mission of service underneath with their employees as well. And so we see that in donation and the heart that First Rate has, right? Like they don't have to give as much as they give, but they do it because they ultimately believe in the mission and the goal of how it aligns with First Rate's core values. And so with that, we then see it trickle down into its employees. And so we see employees that they give their contribution dollars that we get every year per quarter, to a certain amount that we can give. And they can give that to any charity of their choice, and they choose. We have multiple employees that graciously choose for many years to give to the YMCA.
Yeah, it's always, I have the privileged responsibility to oversee those, the distribution and facilitating of those employee contributions and donations. And YMCA is always there at the top of the list of how for multiple donors from First Rate employees. And so that's a testament to what the Y does, as well as kind of people wanting to help you / the Y and First Rate have the level of connection and the level of support it is for the Y and to be a part of that. And so it's neat to see you leverage that and utilize it for such great stuff.
Yeah. No, it's been really special to see that, just giving those donations is huge in itself.
Yeah.
But then hearing, especially being on the board, and so really having more of a connection with some of the employees who do give, and hearing, hey, is there a particular reason maybe why you do give? And it's been pretty special to hear some of these employees have been true beneficiaries of the YMCA in one part of, one aspect or another at one time of their life. And so to hear certain stories where the YMCA just at a time of need for this employee, the YMCA was able to step up, through their after school child programs, just to take one less stress off of this parent in a time of need, right, for a season or two. They look back many years later and can just look back at the YMCA had such an impact on me. Yeah. And it's the least I could do.
Yeah.
And hearing a multitude of those stories really just puts it into perspective of how, the YMCA and its ultimate mission and faith-based mission really is speaking into people's lives and one small aspect. I remember I was a part of the after school program at one point when I was a kid, and I thought nothing of it. I thought it was for fun.
Yeah.
But to think about, there could have been parents there, even for my parents, like that was a huge blessing just to have that extra time where they're not having to rush to get off work, or they're providing in so many other areas, and that stress can just be taken off their plate.
Time is one of those valuable resources we don't appreciate as much as it is, because you can't ever get it back.
No, you can't.
And that's what's so great about these programs and the Y itself, is that it offers families time in a unique way,
it does.
So that they can, revere and cherish and take back what time they can if they need it.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that this commitment you have to the Y as a board member. I mean, it requires time, but it's not exhausting. I mean,
no,
it's because what is kind of that time commitment you have to be a board member for a while.
Yeah, it's not much intrinsically just speaking into a board member seat. We have monthly meetings. Once a month, right now it's mostly on Zoom. We're starting to finally meet in person again. We just recently had a vote on a new facility in Mansfield, which is really exciting. And so we got to tour that facility, and that's another time we meet if it's anything like that. But to the most part, it doesn't take up much of our time. Right, in the world we live in with Zoom, it's pretty easy if we do need to meet or talk through certain aspects. But really, then it's just a further commitment of what you're telling yourself that you're going to give to the YMCA in general. And so through the board, there's task force, like I mentioned previously, that you are then to join and help out with in a certain areas and aspects of the YMCA. And again, it's just your level of commitment to what you believe for the YMCA and how you want to serve in that capacity. So the board is special, and it has a purpose, and it has roles and responsibilities, but ultimately it's the heart behind how then you're wanting to ultimately just be a part and a volunteer to your community as well.
And that's the thing is that it kind of shows it's not, it is a lot of responsibility, and there's a lot that can go into it, but it's not exhaustive.
No.
It's something that, when people think of being on a volunteer board, they can often psych themselves out of it because they think it's going to create such extreme time commitments. And that's the great thing is that you have that luxury to kind of put in the time you want to, and you have that drive and desire to, which is why you're there, but you don't feel that you're being pushed too far.
Right.
And that's vital, so that you can still have the spirit that caused you to join it in the first place doesn't go through wear and tear because of so many obligations.
Oh yes, definitely.
And that's always great to hear, and something that too many people miss out on the opportunity of serving nonprofits as board members because they think of, oh my gosh, so much
You're
time.
gonna be on the front lines, or
I'm going to have to be, on the front lines every day. In my church, we have so many church members that are afraid to volunteer to teach Sunday school for the kids because they think and sometimes as is the case, once you get there, you might not be able to get out, but that's not, for the most part you can, and it's so rewarding. My wife and I, Shannon, we happily serve as Sunday school teachers for the youth group. And it's just overcoming that fear of how much serving as a board member or serving a nonprofit can take from you is just the worst kind of fear, because as you have shown throughout this, that service you provide gives you and so many others so much more.
Totally, yeah. And it's great that I'm on the board, and I don't take that lightly, and what a blessing it is, and the roles and responsibilities that I can be given. But there are hundreds of volunteers that have been serving in some capacity for the YMCA or other nonprofits for years and years and years, and they don't, there's no recognition. They don't have to, and they certainly don't get paid for it, anything like that. But it's just an overflow of their heart that they want to give back in that way, and so you really do, and I believe they do that because of a greater joy that they inherently get from that servitude. That's better than anything else that they can get monetarily.
And that they are the lifeblood. That all of that service is the lifeblood that sustains the YMCA, that sustains Mission Arlington, that sustains all of these organizations building better communities for the community as being a part of the community. And it all starts from having that desire to serve and finding the best ways to facilitate that desire and the service that people want to provide. And
totally.
And what's funny is, going back to how you started at First Rate and the role you had, that's essentially what makes First Rate so important to so many of our clients, is that that same desire to serve clients is what keeps them coming back and makes First Rate grow the way it does.
It really does. Yeah.
And in turn, that gives us more opportunities to give out more to the community of Arlington and beyond to make better differences. So
it's not this end goal of stopping the service. It's how can we create more?
Yeah, we know that we don't have, the only cap we have on giving is percentage, and even that's not a hard cap.
Yeah.
So we know that the more we grow, the more people we get involved, the more service that creates.
The more we can give.
It's not like we're only going to give X amount of dollars and X amount of volunteer time. It's like we know our employees will want to do a percentage of this and that, and the more employees we have, and the more First Rate has, and the more First Rate grows, that just means more difference being made.
Yeah, and that's a blessing with First Rate that they come alongside us with our contribution dollars. It really, makes in the, it's a pillar of ours of think and act like an owner, but it really gives us that aspect as employees to give to the charities of our choice and realize the benefits that we can gain from just this giving mindset and this servitude mindset, and really and it gives us the heart to come alongside then as a business-wide goal to want to give more, because we can feel it on a quarterly basis of who we're giving to as well.
And I think that's, you harped on a great point there about how we have to change our mindset to think and act like an owner, but that thinking and acting like an owner is still based on a model of service.
Yeah,
and it's
definitely.
not a self-fulfilling service. It's a service beyond.
Yeah, that's good.
And if more owners took that on, we'd be in a much better place than we are now.
Seriously, yeah.
But that's the great thing about First Rate is we've found so many partners that we have, clients or people we work with that have that same servant owner at the top level of ownership, that same servant mindset. And
Man, that's good. Say it louder for the people in the back. That's good, Blake.
All right. But anyways, any last parting words that you would want to share with the thousands and thousands of listeners we have? Dude,
thousands.
We're gonna take Joe Rogan's spot on Spotify if he gets kicked off.
He's making it easier for us. So.
He's definitely making it easier for us. But no, any parting words for our audience?
No, I would just say, if you aren't involved, especially in a charity or nonprofit of your choice or some way serving the community, that just seek it out.
Yeah,
that's the best thing you can do, and the first step is just seeking out where you can have an impact in your community around you. We can go on the big trips around the world, but what does it look like to just serve in your community on a day-by-day basis? And on a Saturday you have free, instead of spending it on the couch watching TV, I do that multitude of times where I could easily go out and just go into the community and just take time to just give to someone else in need.
Building that habit, just like with any habit building.
Yeah.
Making that first step and making it kind of just a regular occurrence. It makes all the difference, and that's the great thing is with your vocation and finding ways to be in finance and serve, but really your vocation is about service.
Yeah.
We all can connect whatever our vocation, whatever our calling is, back to the community and utilize those gifts that we have and that desire we have to making a positive impact. And so
that's right.
It's great to see that you're doing that, and wonderful to hear about it, and appreciate your time.
Definitely. Thank you.
Especially because I know you're not going to have much of it in the near future.
Yeah. 8 more weeks and
oh boy,
I'll be MIA. So this was fun. I'm glad we were able to do it when we can.
Glad to do it when we can too, and God bless you and Godspeed, especially on as you embark on fatherhood soon. I won't be too far behind, and
I'll give you some tips and pointers.
Once again, you'll be, even though you're very much my junior, you'll be the wiser, more learned individual.
Finally, in one aspect.
Definitely not in chili making.
No, definitely chili making.
No.
Wendy's chili with ketchup.
Yeah, I have to bring this up because Logan and some other coworkers who I won't name out loud, but their names rhyme with Winnett and Basin, participated in a first-rate chili cook-off a few years back, and they finished ahead of me, and they cheated because they used Wendy's chili and just added ketchup.
Yeah, we found out about 2 hours before the contest that we had forgotten that we had signed up and we needed to have chili. So we went to Walmart, bought a crock pot, went to Wendy's, ordered 15 cups of Wendy's chili, and just put ketchup in it, stirred it around, and we finished second. Third. But we came clean before we accepted our prize. So.
Yeah, but I'm still bitter, which is why I brought it up.
It's okay, I appreciate it.
It was still fun.
Glad you forgive him.
I I won't forget, but I can't forget. But anyways, thank you again, Logan. Really appreciated it. And thank you to our audience. We look forward to joining back together next time as we go through the legacy of first rate. So take care and God bless everyone.